Hey there, Power Ranger fans, and welcome to our third interview. And this is entitled Beware Scorpina Stinger. And I'm here with Scorpina from Season 2 herself, Miss Sabrina Lu. You can go ahead and say hello.
Hello.
She's a little confused.
I'm not sure. Am I on the screen with you? Is that how it is?
Yeah, it's flipped back and forth, so.
Okay.
So yeah. So anyway, how are you doing this fine afternoon? I mean,
Oh,
where you
good.
live, where you live, it's like really warmer and it's like colder here. So you.
Yes, it's actually pretty warm here today. Well, the sun came up. It's cold at night, but it's warm, in the daytime still because we're in California.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind being there right now, but living in Ohio. So anyway, so I got a question for you. Let me start off with this question. When you started off, did you know much about Power Rangers at the time, or did you just go in and audition, or how'd that work?
Yeah, I didn't know really anything about it. I think I'd heard of it, but really didn't know too much. And then they were looking for someone just to be able to play the student version, a human version of Scorpina. So since they'd only used her in the Japanese footage, they had auditions. And basically, when I always thought it was funny because when I got there, the character's name actually was Sabrina. And my own personal theory is that as they were going through all the headshots of the people that were submitted, they might have seen mine and thought, oh, that'd be a good name for the human Scorpina. Even if I didn't get the part, she was obviously still going to be named Sabrina. So that was, but yes, I went in, read that they narrowed it down to like two of us, and then we came back and we had to try on the costume and do the lines again and stuff like that. And so that's pretty much how it went. And here's Christian.
I got
Oh, okay. My son Christian.
That's a really long delay.
Oh, it's a long delay.
Yeah, it does that. And here's young Scorpion himself. The young Scorpion. I can't say Scorpina because Scorpina's a girl and you're a guy, so I better call you the Scorpion. Oh,
That's
wait, that's a Mortal Kombat character. Oh, boy, I'm going to get sued. Get over here! Anyway, yeah, I mean, I think that was kind of funny because when I first read the human counterpart of Scorpina, the student part, and it said Sabrina, I was like, okay. And then I read the actress, your name on there, and I'm like, that was my reaction. I'm like, and then later on when they started using Catherine Sutherland, just spelling her name different in season 3, they changed it because her name is Catherine in real life, and you put a K instead of a C. And
yeah, so I think sometimes it probably works out that way. That they, but it made sense too for the human version of Scorpina for her name to be similar to Scorpina, rhyme with Scorpina, but not actually be Scorpina.
Yeah.
Actually be a real name and then be similar to Scorpina.
And so you were kind of, well, they tried to make you the love interest of Adam, Johnny Young Bosch's character, I think, in the beginning, because, yeah, well, that date didn't last very long, that's for sure. Because
we just walked into the park with Aisha, Karen Ashley's character, and then almost right away we just I became Scorpina, and the putties came out, and we tied them to the tree, and then we had to wait for them to get rescued, and then the battle happened.
So what was it like holding that sword, that boomerang-shaped sword?
Oh, well, it was a nice one actually. It's all foam, so it's not heavy. Oh, yeah. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty cool weapon.
That's really cool. It's interesting because being in that, being in the suit.
In her in the Scorpina costume, she doesn't have a stinger, so in a way that weapon is her stinger because that's how she's going to be able to get people. and then when she morphs, she actually has the whole scorpion, the pincers and everything, so she's got the stinger at that point. But she, as the more like humanoid version of Scorpina, she definitely needed her boomerang sword type thing.
And man, I thought it was interesting that they brought her back for that one episode, but they never explained what happened to her. I mean, because a lot of people were guessing like, oh, maybe she got wiped out during the countdown to destruction. Because I don't know if you've seen any prior seasons after that. I mean, seasons like after the season you were in. But I mean, have you actually? Did you ever keep an eye on other seasons?
I didn't watch. It's funny. I hear about, and like at the Power Morphicons, people will tell me about what's happened and things like that, and that there's not really any for sure situation. But I mean, she could have been turned to dust, but she could still be floating around out there and that sort of thing. So I think 2 years ago or something, we talked about, well, they could still feasibly spin her off and bring her back, because she didn't really have like a definitive end. And but I always thought it was interesting that some of the stuff online said that the reason she didn't come back was that the American actress Sabrina Lu wasn't available. But I was available, so I'm not sure. I think they just didn't necessarily have a way to go, like plot-wise, or they just decided, they had different stuff going on.
Yeah, and now, did you read up on the Japanese counterpart of the character from
I've watched a couple of the things. I mean, I think some of the episodes that she was really, really dominant in, and actually some of the fans will send me links and stuff, so I've watched some of that stuff of hers. But I thought she did an incredible job, and pretty much when the series was done over there, or when that part of the series was done, they sent, I believe, they sent all the monster costumes here, and so when different monsters were cast and brought into the show, we all were pretty much using, the original Japanese costumes and everything too.
Yeah, because I remember they had to, in season 2, because originally what they were going to do was, I remember in season 1, Doomsday was supposed to be apparently the series finale or something, maybe. That was originally the plan. But after that, it continued on in the first season, and then after a oyster stew or something like that, I can't remember what the episode's called. It's oyster something. I know that was the season finale for season 1, and because it became so popular from just the series itself, because they didn't know how long it was going to take off and how well it was going to do. Because I mean, 21 years later, I mean, wow. That's all I can say about that. And also, if you ever want to try to look for it, the Juranja, which that's what it's called in Japan, they're going to be selling it next year through Amazon, which is going to be from Shout Factory, the same people that did the box sets for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and so on and so forth.
They're gonna package the original series?
Yep, for Zuranja, the Japanese version, and it says before Power Rangers, they were Zuranja. And
yeah, maybe that's why. I mean, they had some of the Japanese actors at the last Power Morphicon.
Yeah, that's right. They had that actor's name. He played Geki. That's who he played in the series. The Tyranno Ranger in Zuranja. People are going to start saying, oh, no, don't say that right. Don't say that wrong. But yeah, he was there. I remember that. Now, people are probably wondering, did you get to keep the costume?
No, I don't know of anyone that got to keep their costumes, because and actually I have a friend that I went to college with, and he works for Saban now, and I asked him, is it anywhere? Does it still exist? And he said he actually asked around, but no one knows where it is. It could have been that it just, over time was kind of worn out, and they just tossed it, not really thinking about it. But as far as I know, unless someone has it and they just aren't, they're just keeping it for themselves. But I don't have it, so.
I'm looking at your son's comment on here. It says, I had to refresh it. hello, this has a lot of a delay.
Oh.
He'll see this. Yeah. I mean, that was a really cool costume, a really good looking costume, and a cool costume too.
Mhm.
Now, just to let you know, there are people that actually. I mean, if you saw my profile picture that I just changed on my personal Facebook. Um,
Oh yeah, I saw.
yeah.
I saw. And I have a picture with her too.
Yeah.
From.
Um, I don't know. I wish I knew who she was. Maybe she, or there's a lot of cosplayers out there that are very good at details and everything.
Yeah,
Um,
it's impressive. It's very impressive.
and if I can, whoever's watching this right now, or later on, guys, let's get her a Scorpina costume. I mean, heck, if she goes to Paramorphicon, maybe she'll set up a photo op with that Scorpina costume. We'll get her back in the personalized.
If you guys can figure out how to get one made, and it looks good, I will wear it.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yes.
no, that one that she wore was nice. And yeah, I think she did a really good job. She said she did it. She was able to do it like just over
Yeah.
I think a week. I think now I can't remember exactly, but it didn't take her like a huge amount of time. So, but yeah, I know I should have thought to actually like get her name and number and stuff like that, but at that
Yeah.
point I didn't want to be weird and creepy.
Hey, who are you and how'd you make that?
That's right.
I want that from you. You know what? Do you have a change of clothes right now? All right, you give me that. You give me
That would
that.
have
You
been
just
weird. Yeah,
you
that
you
wouldn't
want
have
me
been
with.
weird at all. No.
Okay, we'll trade clothes. You wear my clothes. I'll wear your clothes. Okay. All right. But it's because if you notice, some of the actors of Power Rangers are actually they're putting on back on the spandex from
Oh
cosplay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like Nakia Burrise, she played in Zeo. I don't know if you, I mean, I know that you met her at Paramorphicon. Did you meet Nakia? She was in
The yellow.
yeah, she was Zeo Ranger 2 Yellow and the Yellow Turbo Ranger. She was
Okay,
one
yeah.
of the Yellow
I think
Rangers.
I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't like really stand around and talk too long, but I've seen her and stuff. So.
Okay. Yeah. How long were you at Paramorphicon for? I know that you only had like.
Well, with I brought my kids and stuff, so we only were there each day for probably just like 2 or 3 hours, just because the second day I had everybody I had all four of my kids and a babysitter there, so because my youngest one would not like stay still. He's 7, but he has autism, so he would just be running and jumping
Oh.
everywhere, probably opening all of the toys. So, but luckily our really awesome babysitter was there, so she was able to keep him, happy during that time, so he could be
Yeah.
there. And then,
Yeah. And you know what?
yeah,
They never.
actually,
Okay, go
speaking of
on.
that, if anybody wants if they weren't at Power Morphicon, because you could obviously get an autographed picture there, but I set up on eBay so that people could go to eBay. If you search Scorpina, it's the only thing that comes up. You can get an 8x10, and if you message me on Facebook, tell me exactly what you want me to write. As long as it's nice, I will write it and sign it, and then that money is being donated. So help us get. We're actually opening a special needs gym in the area, so it will help us
Oh,
too.
that's awesome. Yeah. As you saw me shake my head, because you've got to be careful with those fans, because they
Oh, I know. That's why I always say
they're just
I'll write whatever as long as it's nice.
as long as it's appropriate and not where her husband will have to come after you chopping.
That's right. It's quite strong.
Yes. Yes, guys. She's married. I mean, even okay. Let me just say this. All right. You know that Karen Ashley, she did an interview at the second Power Morphicon, and she was talking about that somebody tried to. They were trying to go for like a kiss, get a kiss on the cheek, but they tried to full on give her a kiss.
Oh.
With no. Yeah. So the thing is, that's why I say inappropriate, because you don't do that kind of stuff. You never ever do that, because then you look like a complete. I mean, not the actor, the person that did it looks like a complete creeper. You know what I mean? And you just gotta be. I mean, fans these days, they say, "Oh man," like for instance, there's always a lot of stuff. "Oh man, Kimberly's hot, man. She still looks good." And it's
Well,
like,
I think because
okay, yeah,
even though it was 20 years ago, um, since everybody was so young when they did it, that's why everyone, I think, they still, all look pretty good. All the Rangers.
yes, yes, you look amazing too. You look amazing
Oh,
too.
thank you.
And you're very welcome. I mean, even without the Scorpina costume, you look great. Yeah, a lot of people are probably saying like this, like, I will manage to see her in the Scorpina costume, but she looks good. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean,
Well, did you see? Were you at the Power Morphicon? Were you
Yeah,
there?
I was at yeah, I've been to um three of them, the second,
Oh,
third, and
okay.
fourth.
Well, you saw because oh now I can't remember the name. Pineapple the Clown.
Yes, yes, Pineapple the Clown.
He
I,
had he had his entire costume because it was his. When he went to the audition, he actually wore that to his callback, I think. And so he was saying that when he went to go to costuming for the show, he brought what he'd worn to the audition, and they said, "Oh, we like that even better than what we've got for you." So they actually it's all his own stuff, which is why he actually still has it. So that's why he is the one person that has the original costume because it was actually his to begin with. So he could just leave, it wasn't like he was taking a costume, obviously. He just brought
yeah,
it.
well, you could make so many jokes about that, like, yeah, well, he liked being a clown so much he decided to steal the costume and make a profession out of it.
I thought that was good. They got him there because he hadn't done one of those, so
Yeah,
he had a really like prime space and everything over there by Austin and all those guys. I was kind of lower key. I don't know. I usually just kind of I find like a quieter spot because I'd rather be able to spend the time with the fans that find me.
oh yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. I mean, that's the great thing that the actors do. I mean, I like that about when you guys come to the conventions and do this kind of stuff. I mean, the only convention you can go to is Power Morphicon because you can't do a lot of traveling and everything. With you have your mom and you have your kids, and can't take them out of school just because there's a convention coming up. You know what I mean? Oh
Hmm.
man, your kids would be telling stories like, "Oh man, I went to this place. What was it for? A convention? Oh, but don't tell the principal or anything, because I don't want to get in trouble." But no, it's cool that what they do. But like I was saying, what the thing, my pet peeve is when fans stand there and talk to them when it's a long line and they've been waiting there for hours.
Right, but I know it's one of those things. I think the first Power Morphicon I went to, I didn't want people to have to wait super long, but then
Hmm.
you don't want to rush anybody either because they've all waited a certain time, so
Exactly.
you really have to kind of it's a really tough call. I think that in a way they've waited, so they should get to say everything they want to say and
Right.
all that stuff, and get the pictures and get everything. But that first one, I was like, oh gosh, I didn't want people to wait, and this sort of thing. And then this last one, I was like, well, first of all, there's not so much of a rush because people saw me 2 years ago, so they would just come by, say hi, that kind of thing. And then that way the people that did want to come and sit and talk and that kind of stuff, I had more time to do that. And then I realized exactly that everyone's waited in this line, and as much as we would love there
Yeah.
not to be lines, I think it's good that they let them talk and they let them because they have waited in that line too. I know that it's one of those
Yeah.
it just keeps rolling though, because then they've waited, then they're making more people wait and all that kind of stuff. But I think that's just the nature of the beast. If you're going to those things, you're gonna
Yeah, I
wait.
mean, we all got to be patient. I mean, yeah, I mean, me and my patience, I try to stay patient, but
Hmm.
and then in my mind, I think there's panels too. I mean, if you get a chance to ask a question, You can go to their panels, or if they're not at a panel at that time, and there's like hardly anybody there, then you can sit and talk.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's not good. But the thing is, it's amazing. 21 years ago, this show started off, and then it's been taken off ever since, and we're going to be into the 22nd season next year.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's actually it's pretty amazing. I think because of all of the different versions that happened, that's what's kind of kept it alive, and then people still look back and they're like, "Oh, now I can watch all the old ones." If they like just the concept of it, then they're all going back to the old ones and watching those again. And then, probably at this point, the people that were the fans of Mighty Morphin are starting to have kids, so
Yes.
they're kind of getting to where their kids are going to watch probably the new generation of it. Though, so.
Exactly. And then that's exactly. And then now that we have like DVDs and Blu-ray or something like that, and Netflix, if you guys ever watch it, go to Netflix. It should be on under what was it under on Netflix?
I think it is under either episode 89 if they do all of Mighty Morphin 1 and 2 seasons, but if they're doing season 1, season 2, I think it's episode 29 in season 2, and there were 60 episodes season 1, so I believe maybe Christian. Yeah. Can you search Netflix and see what that's under? It's called Goldar's Vice Versa, because it was like the vice versa dance where the girls were asking the boys to the dance.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense now.
That's why the idea was, even though I think Adam ends up kind of ending up with the little actual real human that's on like the volleyball team or something like that. But because when they that's kind of a really, really minor moment in the plot line. But the idea was that they would send Scorpina down there to ask him to the dance, and it was sort of this divide and conquer thing. We get one ranger away from the pack, and we can destroy that one and that sort of thing, and then we end up with two of them because Aisha comes too. That kind of thing. But then they start to suspect something's up because there is no new student named Sabrina and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
I like that because you like it's like, what is she doing here?
Yeah.
But it would have been really funny. I know a lot of fans are like, no, that wouldn't make any sense. But it would be really funny if Scorpina ended up falling for Adam, and then really.
That would have been a good way to go. He could have turned her around. She could have been.
Yeah. But vice versa.
No, I guess there was a gold.
Yeah. There was later on in Zeo. Yep. And in the Japanese version, Scorpina's counterpart, I can't pronounce their characters' names. I know they're probably easy to pronounce. It's just I don't even take the effort to.
Her actual Japanese name?
Her actual character's name in the show. It's gonna drive me. But those two characters, I think they were husband and wife in the series. Goldar and Scorpina.
Yeah.
Their characters were, and I thought that was kind of.
They had a baby.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, at the on the season finale of that, and they ended up giving it to the Rita counterpart, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. That was.
If we knew the baby's name, we could refer to Christian as that name.
Yeah, I remember. Actually, you're gonna love this. Doomsday. They were thinking about having the counterpart Kai, which was Rita's counterpart son in the series, and they were gonna name him Bubba.
It would be really interesting, actually, to watch. I'm guessing when they come out on DVD for sure, if they weren't already, they'll all be subtitled so we could understand what's going on.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's actually interesting. The one that somebody sent me the link to is like Scorpina in this amusement park, and she's, you barely even see the Rangers in that part. Like she's like, that's like her episode, I think, or something.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is,
Lonnie, that's her name.
What was her name?
Lami, I think. Lami. Lami.
Lami.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Lami. Yeah. And oh, you know what? We have gotten a Rita figure. We've gotten a Lord Zed figure. We have a Divatox figure, but we need more figures of the villains. Like, I mean, even though they weren't big, we need a Scorpina figure. I'll tell you that right now. I think a lot of people would love to have a Scorpina.
Well, I'll tell you, this is an absolutely true story, true moment from that day at the auditions. The last thing that they said to both of us was, okay, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions about Scorpina? Do you have any questions? And I raised my hand and I just said, will there be an action figure? Because that was absolutely what I thought would be the coolest thing ever. And they just kind of laughed and giggled and stuff. And I guess there had been some prototypes made, but of the already transformed Scorpina.
Oh.
Someone showed me pictures of that, but not an actual face of Scorpina.
I mean, I thought, yeah, there was actually prototypes for that. There was a Rita prototype at one point too. The one that we got from Super Samurai, the one they released. I think maybe they just wanted to do the monster design and not the actual humanoid look, which is fine, you know. I mean.
Right. Well, it's probably easier too.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. You know what? If you just search, if you Google image, or at rangerarchive.com, they've got a picture of the baby, the Japanese footage, Scorpina, Goldar, and the baby.
Yeah, guys, if you remember that, write that down, or rewind this and listen back.
I just did Scorpina and Goldar, and it showed up.
That works too. Now, is there any possible way that besides your personal Facebook, have you ever thought about maybe making a fan page?
I probably should do that, and in fact, at every Power Morphicon that comes up, and I just forget to do it. So Christian, can you do that?
Yeah, actually, you know what?
Fan page. What?
Usually, it's always good. That's actually really a good idea because that way you can talk to your fans and then keep it your personal page personal. With family and everything, because that's what I like about what they do. I don't know. I mean, if you're looking for somebody to help you out with that, I'll probably find somebody for you. Or maybe
that would be cool.
Yeah, and because with me, I help. If you don't know this, you know who Sandy Selner is? Does that sound familiar to you?
No, but I'm terrible with names. Who is it?
She was the suit actress for season 2 through season 3. She played Alpha 5 in the suit. She was
the little robot?
The little robot. She was in there for part of season 2 on to season 3. So that was her. Cool. And I help her. I put together her fan page, and she runs it because it's under her name, And that's I helped her set that up. So if you ever need any help, I can help, or I can ask somebody if you want to set up your own fan page, because that way people can keep in touch with you. You can start selling autographs on there, and just make sure you gotta be careful, because the thing is, okay, let me say this to the people that are watching this, guys, please be appropriate. Don't be inappropriate to these actors, because they take their time to go out and see you guys, and all they ask is respect, because that's what everybody wants respect, you know what I mean? And I don't, because the thing is, a lot of people, there has been, for reasons like, if you don't know this, Amy Jo Johnson, Kimberly, she doesn't do conventions, because maybe because of the money or something else, but it's probably because either it's probably because of the anxiety, because she had said that time, the first time starting off, it kind of scared her a little bit, because being in a big crowd and everything, she wasn't used to that at the time, because she started off so And
Yeah, I mean that's it is it's a different thing, and obviously being the first Pink Ranger, and she was there for how many seasons and that sort of thing.
yeah,
She has quite a following and stuff. So it could have been overwhelming, and she could have just wanted her personal space and
exactly.
everything, you know.
And she actually, if you did not know this, um, she actually did. She was
Play
busking.
guitar and getting her pink suit. Yeah.
Cosplayer hooked her up with that. You know,
See,
here's
that's cool. The thing is, if somebody makes me a suit and it looks like the suit, like I would
yeah.
totally wear it.
And
I would
you're
wear that to the next Power Morphicon.
yes. And you what are you doing now? By the way, what is
I am, well, I have 4 kids, and like I mentioned, my youngest has autism, and we're going to be opening a gym a special needs gym, but actually for all kids, because so much of they really just need that swinging and jumping, and the other thing is a lot of times it's hard to take them to like Gymboree, My Gym, places like that because you get a lot of you just have to deal with a lot of questions, or you're apologizing. One of the slogans of this place is finally a place where you never have to say I'm sorry, because as a special needs mom, you're
Mhm.
always like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. They're cutting in line, or they're just jumping up and down in the middle of something, and they're being themselves. And of course, you want them to learn, stay in line, wait your turn, those sorts of things. But other things like, they may need to flap their arms, they may need to jump right then and there, they may need to sit on the floor right then and there or something. And some of that is just them being them. So it's opening a place, and they're opening nationwide. Actually, we're just lucky enough to be able
Yeah.
to open one in our area, and to be able so that our child and other families can have access to it.
Yeah. And the thing is, one of my admins, she her name's Amanda. Amanda, if you're watching this, I'm probably gonna die for saying this, but she has autism herself, and she's a really good friend of mine. And she wants to become a motivated speaker, motivated speaker.
Motivational.
Thank you, motivational speaker. I butchered that. But she wants to become that, and I give her props for doing that because she's
Oh yeah.
yeah, and she's and she has said that the Power Rangers has put a really good effect on her life. That I mean everybody's different.
Well, I'll tell
Whether
you one thing. I think because it's so visual, the characters are so visual, they're so colorful, and I think it's great. And also, there's so much detail that goes in, especially with all of these series, all of these characters. It really is something that you can get into, and it's positive, and it's fun, and all those kinds of things. So I think that's great. I also think it's incredibly inspiring when any young adult. I follow a lot of the autistic kids that were nonverbal, that are still nonverbal, but have learned to communicate. So I think it's amazing. And so since my son is nonverbal, when I just follow all these people and how they've learned to communicate, and just how that just opens up their world. So if she can communicate and motivate others, I think that's amazing. So yeah, it's very exciting to see, that there are no limits, for anyone. But there needs to be more opportunities like that for people to be able to get out and
exactly,
say what they
exactly.
can.
Because there's so much stuff going on in the world. I mean, whether if you're autistic or have Down syndrome or something like that. Because I have attention deficit disorder. I'm an ADD,
Hmm.
so I had to do special ed and everything. So, it's tough. It seems. I mean, a lot of people think, oh, it's not tough. Well, if you live the life where you learn slower than other people, and you just your speech is bad when you have Down syndrome, or autism as well. It's
Yeah.
just we're human beings.
Mhm.
And
I think one thing, they're always talking about all the statistics and everything, but the one recent one that I read that I was not that shocked about, but because normally they'll be talking about the 1 in 68 or coming toward 1 in 50 for autism and stuff like that. But the one that 1 in 6, they're saying now 1 in 6 children are affected by some kind of developmental disability. And that could be the whole range, of autism, Down syndrome, all the way to the ones that are, just even that do cause you just to learn differently.
Exactly.
Learn differently, and that sort of stuff. And so, but it's actually with ADHD, with ADD, with all those things, it's actually 1 in 6 now. So it's just the need to have places and just have people feel included and have I think that one of the neat things about YouTube actually is here, people can get together, you can talk about shared interests, you can do, there's really, it's changed, it's completely changed, the world as we know it, media as we know it, has completely changed because of YouTube and the internet, obviously.
Exactly. Now, if you ever go back and watch my episodes, let you know there is uncensored ability in those episodes. We go all out because we have fun with it. We try. We swear, but we try to not. We just try to have fun with it. We don't.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's what when I'm doing an interview with somebody, I don't want to come off inappropriate. I try to be professional when it comes to talking to the actors. Because then, I don't want. I would love for them to come back. like you, for instance. I would love for you to be back on here, whether it's as a special guest on one of our episodes or another interview. That'd be awesome. Because
oh yeah, and one thing that might be fun too is just for we can when we get our gym up and running, we could even I could carry the laptop around and show it to you and stuff. If you go to my YouTube, which is just under my name actually, nothing exciting. Anyway, there's one video there that shows because just in the last probably month and a half, couple months, after watching a child, he's 17 now, but when he was 10, they told him that, the teachers, the experts, they all said, oh, just so you know, to the parents, we don't think he'll ever read, write, or do math because his autism is too severe. You should just teach him life skills, how to get through the day. Well, the parents decided to just take him out of the conventional therapies and do everything much more visual. And they were able to, not only is he now typing 65 words a minute, he's doing algebra, and he's 17 years old. So they showed some of the methods they used with him, and then I kind of adapted that into my son's homework, and then lo and behold, we discovered he could read. And so here he has been, nonverbal, jumping around, and he is diagnosed. On all of his paperwork it says severe because he's nonverbal, but then you realize, okay, but he can read. He's he's following so now we're trying to get him up to grade level and do all sorts of stuff and everything like that. But there's a video on my YouTube that shows and then it shows him playing in a couple of the gyms that already exist, and he just loves it. And he'll just watch those videos of him playing there. He's so excited to want to. So we're excited to hopefully have that up and going in the next few months. So he has a place here, and this community has access to that as well.
That's great. That is really good. Now I was reading more about what you're doing now. I see that you are you do samba, Zumba.
Oh,
Zumba. Samba. What is Zumba?
Well,
Samba?
Samba's part of it's part of the. Basically, Zumba is a combination of world rhythms, but it all started in the Latin rhythms. That's why it sounds like samba, because samba is one of salsa, merengue, reggaeton, samba, flamenco. There's some others. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but basically there's all the world rhythms as well. They'll actually work in some stuff that's kind of Bollywood and stuff like that now. But it's super fun. Yeah, I've been a Zumba instructor. Oh gosh, I don't know, 7, 8 years now.
I'll tell you right now, playing the Wii version of that game, never again for me. I mean,
I would think that the Kinect would be the way to go with that one because I had the Wii version, but like wearing the remote thing in your waist belt was just awkward. And so yeah, I agree. I would venture to try the Kinect version if I had that, but I don't have a Kinect. But because at least you're not having to wear a controller, and then plus, a lot of people figure out, oh wait, if I just do this with my right hand, then I'm doing the whole dance. Or, people like figure out ways around it where you're not even.
Exactly. It's like this, like, oh, if I do this, then I'm actually doing the dance moves. They just don't know I'm not really doing it.
Right.
It's not like the instructor's going to stop and say, hey, put that back in the.
That's right. Put that back in the waist belt. Yeah. So it's,
you actually do the moves. That would be kind of.
I mean, I think the Wii has some really nice things too. Not to just plug the Xbox Kinect, but I think for that, in particular, for those dance programs, it's a little nicer.
And who knows, guys? If we get her a costume, maybe she'll teach Zumba in that costume in the sport.
That's right. We'll be doing and we'll actually do Samba, teaching Zumba, doing a Samba in the Scorpina costume.
Yeah. Minus, I mean, if you can give her the boomerang thing, that'd be cool too. But I'm sure she wouldn't bring that with her to a Samba class. That'd be kind of weird.
Well, people are being lazy. They just whack them over the head. With,
yeah. Good job. Jim, why aren't you moving? Hold on a sec.
They're in the back. I'm coming. Yeah. It was funny actually. Because at that point. Well, season 2, they hired a lot of, they really got, like, really good martial artists, like, obviously, Johnny and Steve Cardenas and stuff are really good martial artists. But they still had the stunt crew for when they were in their other outfits.
Yeah.
And so they, lost my train of thought for a second. Oh, but anyway, but because I was a face character, even though everybody else, Goldar, all the putties, at that point the Rangers, were all like a Japanese stunt crew. Mm-hmm. And so when they were choreographing the fight scene, they were like, okay, well, all right, you just run around a little bit and try to like interject here, but try not to get hurt or get in the way because obviously I wasn't one of the stunt crew. I hadn't done all this stuff with them and wasn't a stunt person. But so when you get to that part of the footage in that episode, it just looks like Scorpina is not such a great fighter there because I'm just literally like running around and like put my little sword thing in here and then
I think I remember. I'll have to go back and watch that again.
It's not my shining moment of stunt choreography, that's for sure.
Did you actually have any training in martial arts prior to that, or?
I have done some kung fu actually, and then I was a dancer. So I was flexible from that. So it's kind of funny because Steve Cardenas helped me with the kata because there's like a demonstration when she's Sabrina, and that's supposed to like get Adam's attention. Hey, look, it's a girl who can do martial arts, or at least fan kicks that look kind of martial art-ish. Yeah. Anyway, so then that was why it's kind of almost a little more dancey than martial artsy in that scene. But there's some kicks and like basic stuff. And then but what they didn't tell me was we filmed it, and then when they brought me in to do voiceover, they said, okay, now you need to make your fighting sounds. I'm like, I need to make my fighting sounds?
Oh yeah, something like that.
Right. No, exactly. There you go. See there. Well, but the thing was, is they didn't tell me that, so my mouth was never open, because since sorry, I just have to reply to this really quick.
That's okay.
So since my all I could do was when I was facing away from the camera, then I could say "yeah," and all the big sounds. But when I was facing toward the camera, since my mouth was closed, all you hear is because that's all I could. I couldn't do anything with sorry. Okay. I couldn't do open mouth sounds. So then I'm facing the back, and then I'm like, yeah, yeah. Then I'm facing the front again. So anyway, those are kind of funny moments. But at the time, I'm like, why didn't you tell me? I would eventually, or you'd want to put these sounds in. But I think some of it comes up, like especially at that point when they were doing the shows like that, they were like, let's just get this done and stuff. So when you're then when you're looking at it to do the final cut, you're like, oh, it would have been good if she actually made some sounds there, So.
Yeah. I mean, we were kids. We didn't know what was going on, but now we're adults. We're actually going to figure this out. Now everybody's going to be watching. They're going to go like, I've got to see this. I got to pay attention really closely. We're doing this. Come on. Who's next?
If you go to that scene in the beginning when I'm in the black gi and stuff, that's when you see the awesome voiceovers there where of the fighting sounds.
Now, did you do the voice for that, or was that somebody else?
I did the voice all the way up until I think when she becomes the monster. Okay. That was Wendy Lee, I believe, was the voice. She did the voice when they used the Japanese footage of Amy Kawai. When they used her footage from the original thing, she did the voice. So when she became the monster, that was her voice. But I did the voice of when I'm, with my face. Yeah.
Okay. What about when you were in the suit? Did they have to change up your voice and match it to Wendy's? Or did you have to try to...
There was one line that I think actually was her voice over mine, but the rest of it was me. Like when she, Aisha, the character Aisha has a funny line in there because she's like, I knew there was something about you I didn't like. I mean, besides your hair. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, she said something about besides your hair and your clothes, which is just like typical like a teenager, how you're going to get to the... which I thought was funny. So as Scorpina, I think I said something like, oh, I'm crushed or something. And then, but somewhere in there she also has, that I think might have been, they voiced her over. I said that line, but I think they voiced her over. But in the costume at some other point, now I got to watch, I can't remember, but there was, I know that I say some and she says some. But they transition because then when she's a monster, there was like one line she said, and then transforms, morphs.
I remember because she introduced, like, who are you? It was like, I'm Scorpina, or something like that, and then...
Right, I think that's her line. She says, I'm Scorpina, your worst nightmare, and then does the evil laugh. Because I think they probably wanted to keep the evil laugh consistent or something. But I did do those lines at some point, and then...
they had to go over it and stuff.
So some of it basically kind of blends from my voice to her voice in that.
Okay, that makes perfect sense actually.
I'm pretty sure it's just that one very last line that they wanted to have like more signature laugh or something probably.
Yeah. I mean, I think they should have at least tried to. Okay, I can understand in season 3 because they were using footage from a.k.a, which is Alien Ranger. Because the Zords they used was from a.k.a, and those were the Ninja Zords. And then later on, Shogun Zords came in, and then the actual suits from a.k.a came in as the Alien Rangers. So, I mean, but, in the rest of season 2, they should have had more Scorpina in there. It would have been awesome to have Scorpina in there and stuff like that.
Yes.
It would have been good. Or
probably need to start a campaign for the Scorpina spin-off.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, have you heard of a fan film called Zordon of Eltar?
No, I have not heard of that.
Okay, well there is a character. It's a different spin on the Power Rangers. It's the story before the Power Rangers existed. It revolves around the characters Zordon of Eltar, of course, and then I would have to send you a link to it. And they also just recently did this. They had this one fan film they just got done with that was released this year. It was called Teenagers with Attitude. I'll send you a link to that too. But they have Scorpina in there, a different look to her, because it's different. They change it up a little bit, make it more, unique.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever want to check that, you should check that out. It's really good. Shout out to Cisco Davis Jr., the director and creator of Zordon adults are teenagers with attitude, and there's the actress that plays her. I think her name is Ali Dash. I think. Let me look her name up. I think that's her name. I think her name is Ali Dash. Let's make sure. Yep, it's Ali Dash. That's what her name is.
Oh, okay.
She plays the Scorpina in there, and it's amazing. Now, there's been a lot of fans doing a lot of fan films out there for Power Rangers. There's been this, and then they're also doing MMPR fan film, which is supposed to be a darker take. Right after it was supposed to take after the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers vanish out of nowhere, and Lord Zed comes back, and that's what they're trying to do. But it's not in the same universe of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's mainly in the universe of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but not continuing only from Mighty Morphin. It's continuing, not from Z or anything like that. But they do put little Easter eggs, little continuity, whatever they call that word, continuity from the series, like characters' names and everything, and they use them from past seasons, to do that. But that's still in works because they're doing. I'm friends with the producer and director, and then there's another one that's supposed to be coming out. That's gonna be a 3-parter called Morphin Origins. It's created by Dan Romano. Have you ever met Dan Romano? Does that sound familiar?
That sounds familiar, but I don't know that I've ever met them.
Met him? Yeah, Dan Romano. He has created Morphin Origins. That's one of the fan films. I'll have to send you links to a lot of these films so you can check out their work.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's.
Yeah. I mean, in general, so far I've just if people request me on Facebook and stuff, I'll usually just go ahead and accept them, and as long as they're being nice, and they just pop in and say hi every once in a while, and understand that I'm busy, but when I can, I always try to reply and stuff.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And that's why I suggested, if you ever want to try to set up a fan page, I
probably should do that, and it's easier to handle and respond and things like that. So yeah. Well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about that down the down low for a little later. But it's amazing that even though you were only in one episode, I just want to say thank you for being part of Power Rangers. Thank you very much.
No, it was fun. It was really fun.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be saying a lot of thank yous during our 30th episode this Sunday, because I like to thank a lot of the actors, a lot of the cast members and Power Rangers, and for giving us Power Rangers for 21 years, and now we're going to be going into another 22 season. So I'm just I'm still watching this show from this day. I literally get up around 11:30 or 11:30 or 11:30, and then it's on my DVR set to record. If I want to save it for later, and I'll save it for later to watch it again. It's like a little kid getting up to watch cartoons, pretty much. I still watch it from this day, and it's something I grew up on, and I've got a lot of it.
And there isn't really, to my knowledge, anything like that where you could have been watching it and they're making new episodes. I mean, you're able to still keep watching the new series as they all keep coming out. And I think that was what was kind of neat about them doing Power Morphicon, is that to realize, wow, there's all these Rangers from all these seasons, and it's cool. I mean, it's a neat thing that it has actually kept going. It wasn't just like if you look back in, even Star Trek, which is obviously an entirely different kind of a thing, but had a lot of seasons. Yeah. But it wasn't for kids. First of all, it wasn't for kids, but also it did stop. I mean, there's movies now, but it's not like there's still an actual series. And so I think that that's pretty amazing that there still are Power Rangers after all these years. So
yeah, we're not dealing with on Star Trek. We're not dealing with William Shatner going, Spock, you must go here now.
But I better let you go. I've got to go start picking up kids and stuff.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Sabrina, for being on here. And guys, thank you so much for watching, and may the power protect you.